Well, I got my notes, check. Sunglasses, check. Hat, check. Pepsi, check. Thick skin, check. Let's go. Hey, welcome to Golden Blue Dude, everybody. If you're a college football fan, might as well hit the like and subscribe button because that's all we do over here. Go check out our Patreon page. We call our Patreons the shot callers because that's exactly what they do around here. And when the regular season gets here, our Patreons will get to decide which game we'll live stream, and you'll get to watch with Golden Blue Dude. And the score prediction contest will be coming back. Every week I pick out a game and my Patreons guess the score, and whoever comes closest to the score wins $20 every single week, and you can win as many times as you want. The higher the Patreon, the more guesses you get per week. Well, conference realignment still dominating the college football world. Of course, we know last year Texas, Oklahoma, they went to SEC. That's old news. And now we know that UCLA and USC went to the Big Ten. That's becoming old news. Then we heard that the Big Ten is thinking about Washington and Oregon. But hold on, that's put on hold because they really want Notre Dame and Oregon. But then again, they might be trying to get Stanford and Notre Dame because all this is to get to Notre Dame. The big play is for Notre Dame. So when they brought in USC and UCLA, yes, you're grabbing a massive TV market and a big fan base. Lincoln Riley is injecting some newfound energy and buzz around USC. But part of that decision was to draw in Notre Dame. So this next decision by the Big Ten still involves drawing in Notre Dame. Now, in the end, will it work? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But the next play is determined whether Notre Dame decides, yeah, we'll try the Big Ten, or no thanks, we might actually try the ACC. That's what's going to depend who the Big Ten actually brings in next. So I would not be surprised if the Big Ten brings in Stanford with Notre Dame simply just to get Notre Dame. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Well, now moving on from the Big Ten, our attention focuses back on the SEC. And I'm hearing from multiple sources that Clemson, Florida State, Virginia, and North Carolina are in preliminary talks, whatever that means, with the SEC. Basically, they want to join the SEC, and the SEC does want these four brands. But what really surprised me was Virginia. I thought it was going to be Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and North Carolina. But it turns out Florida State actually doesn't want Miami coming with them. And North Carolina says, hey, we need some type of rival. I don't care if it's NC State, Duke, Wake Forest, whoever. What about Virginia? Yeah, they're a pretty good rival. We can handle that. Bring in Virginia. So Virginia is kind of like just because Florida State didn't want Miami and North Carolina wanted some type of rival to come with them. So the SEC is looking to expand again, and this time they're looking at the ACC. The ACC is on some shaky ground right now because if Notre Dame does in fact decide to join the Big Ten, the ACC is over. That is their only shot. Not just Notre Dame. They would have to bring in Notre Dame and a partner because the way the current TV contract is structured, even if Notre Dame does join the ACC, it doesn't give them the power to renegotiate because that's already built into the contract. So if the ACC wants the ability to renegotiate a TV deal, they need leverage. Notre Dame doesn't bring the leverage because they're already in the contract. They need a partner. And that's why I've been saying Notre Dame and West Virginia to the ACC. But now that's on shaky ground as well because of the Big Ten pursuing Notre Dame. They really want Notre Dame. So even Notre Dame and West Virginia to the ACC, that's on very shaky ground right now. Now, if Notre Dame says, no thanks, I want to go to the ACC and I'm bringing West Virginia, then the deal's on. But if it goes the other way, the deal is off. The ACC is in some major trouble. Outside of Virginia, these are the three top brands in the ACC. This would be a backbreaker for the ACC, equivalent to the Big Ten grabbing USC and UCLA being a backbreaker to the Pac-12. So the Pac-12 and the ACC, you guys are in trouble. And I've made several videos on how I think it could turn out to be three mega conferences, the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12, where the Big Ten continues to expand, the SEC continues to expand, and the Big 12 just kind of picks off the remainders. Now, yes, they're remainders, but those remainders are still Power 5 teams. And I think it would still give the Big 12 enough credibility to stay a Power Conference. The Power 5 is done. The question is it going to be a Power 4 and the ACC sticks around, or is it going to be a Power 3 where the Pac-12 and the ACC get picked apart and the Big 12 absorbs the rest of those members? What about West Virginia to the SEC, Golden Blue Dude? I'm glad you asked that because West Virginia is still on the list for the SEC. The problem is they're on the next 4 list. So they're not in this first 4 list. The first 4 is Clemson, Florida State, Virginia, and North Carolina. They're on the next 4. So if the SEC decides to expand to 24 teams, then they would go to the next 4. West Virginia would be on that list. Or if one of the teams on the first 4 decide, no, that's not for us. We don't want to do the SEC. Then West Virginia would be the first team to be put into that spot. So West Virginia still has the attention of the SEC. We're just not their first choice. We're on their next wave of choices. But hey, it's better than not being looked at all, right? And yesterday I made a video about the Big 12 going after Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State. And the biggest blowback that I got was the Arizona schools that don't add anything competitive-wise to the Big 12. Well, yeah, right now they are a little bit down, but you have to think TV media market, and those 2 schools are close to the Phoenix media market. That's a huge, huge TV media market. So the Arizona schools would bring something to the Big 12 if the Big 12 gets them. You still have the options of Oregon and Washington if the Big 10 doesn't go after one or both of those teams. So the Pac-12 is ripe for pickings right now for the Big 12. They better take advantage, or they could be on the chopping block next. Now, one thing that does hurt Oregon going to the Big 10 is I've heard through USC reporters that part of the reason why USC went to the Big 10 is they told the Big 10, hey, we do not want Oregon to come with us. Not now, not in the future, not ever. So that could be a way to keep Oregon out. That's why I don't have Oregon firmly in the Big 10 yet. And the Big 10 could go with Stanford just to keep enticing Notre Dame as well. Or it could be Stanford and Washington, I don't know. But from what I'm hearing, USC joined the Big 10 saying, hey, if we join the Big 10, don't bring in Oregon. So that's a deal breaker too as well for Oregon. And of course, we already know that the Big 10 has accepted UCLA and USC. So maybe those were part of the terms for UCLA and USC going to the Big 10. Hey, don't bring Oregon and we're coming. Big Ten's like, all right, we're not going to bring in Oregon. USC's like, all right, we agree then. And even though the SEC is thinking about grabbing 4 teams from the ACC, I don't think the Big 10 is done grabbing teams either. They also might go after some teams in the ACC. But if the SEC grabs Virginia, then my list shifts a little bit. I had Virginia, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Duke possibly going to the Big 10. Now it'd be more like Virginia Tech, NC State, Duke, and Miami. So the Big 10 would be stretching east to west, north to south. Like, that would be a totally comprehensive and nationwide conference if they did that. Because I thought the SEC was going to grab Florida State, Clemson, Miami, North Carolina. Not from what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Florida State, Clemson, Virginia, and North Carolina. So that could shake up the list as well. Or the Big 10 could go after Louisville. Or the Big 10 could go after Pitt. Who knows at this point? Right now, we're in the middle of the SEC and the Big 10 making moves. And the next target, believe it, guys, will be the ACC. And the SEC wants to get the big brands first. The biggest brands in the ACC. They want them first. And then, hey, Big 10, if you want some of the leftovers, that's fine, but we're getting the biggest. But at least the Big 10 can say they got the biggest brands out of the Pac-12. And they were some massive brands in UCLA and USC. So this is going to turn out to be an epic war to see who can get the best teams in their conference to call themselves the mega conferences. Y'all let me know what you think about this crazy situation. What do you think will happen next in conference realignment? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on my next show.